Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I know I have been a bit absent for the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately I have been unwell. I know that it's of no real interest to anyone. I am one of these people that when their mental health takes a hit and I get stressed and things along those lines, my physical health takes a bit of a hit. So I just took a little bit of a break from recording, but hopefully I will be more consistent in the near future. Hopefully the main source of my stress, which is actually Moto3, has calmed down a little bit after their massive talking to in Barcelona. And yeah, we'll just get into it with what happened in Barcelona before we go into winners and losers. So what happened in... Right, so personal opinion, what happened in Barcelona was absolutely, completely and utterly unacceptable. It was so dangerous, and I love Moto3. Moto3 is the category that I probably love the most. I used to write about it when I was doing some bits of reporting for various websites, and it was like watching Moto3 was kind of what made me fall in love with MotoGP. So seeing what it's become within the last few rounds, really, it's got to that point where it's actually so stressful to watch that I don't want to watch it. I genuinely don't enjoy watching it because I'm sitting there gritting my teeth and praying that there's not another big accident. And I was doing this, the thing is, I was feeling this way before the accident with Jason, and then after that it just made things worse. But then we went into Barcelona having lost a Moto3 rider, and that was quite possibly the worst race I have ever watched. I was so scared. For them to be slowing down to try and get a toe off each other, to like bunch up the pack because no one wanted to lead, and for them to be looking over their shoulder and weaving round and getting to the point where you're not even just like aggressively riding, you're riding dangerously and putting yourself and other riders at risk and risking a massive like multi-rider pile-up. It's just dangerous. It's not fun to watch for anyone, and I'm glad that they've had this kind of dressing down by whatever safety commission it is and whoever was there to like read them the riot act. I hope it sinks in. I really do, because I don't think I can deal with like the rest of this season being like that. It's way too much. And I want to get back to watching these young kids like finding their feet and making a name for themselves, but making a name for themselves with their talent rather than for being an arse, for want of a better word. But anyway, moving on, let's move on to winners and losers for Moto3. So I'm going to start off with Barcelona, and it has got to be Dennis Onju, which is ironic, talking about safety and then saying that Dennis Onju is one of my winners, because he is actually one of the worst offenders for doing the whole toe thing and waiting around on the racing line. He may have done this whole post about it before Barcelona, saying that he was inviting his fellow Moto3 riders to ride on their own and not cause this whole fiasco that we're used to. But yeah, he's got to be one of the worst offenders for it. I mean, whatever. Anyway, in Barcelona has got to be his best result since he joined the Moto3 class. He has been threatening it for a while. He has been kind of threatening a podium and like one of the top positions, but unfortunately it never seems to materialise. There always seems to be something that happens, be it he crashes, or someone takes him out, or it just fades away, whatever. But this time he actually managed to get there, and I was so happy for him that he was finally on the podium. Unfortunately, it wasn't kind of the podium that he wanted. He was originally 4th, and then because of track limits with Jaume Masia, who was demoted, he was obviously promoted onto the podium. to still have been within the area of being able to be promoted onto the podium, still fair feat. Germany's a tricky one because there are actually a couple that I could pick, but I have to go with Kaito Toba. So Toba is hit and miss. He's not the most hit and miss there is, but he is hit and miss. And since that victory in Qatar, he was very much, he went completely under the radar, dropped off the radar altogether would be a better way of saying it. And then obviously got picked up by CIP. And CIP is well known for being kind of the, almost like your little redemption story. They take riders and they kind of build them up. But it seems to only work if you have been with someone else and then go to them, if you get me. I know, it's complicated, but whatever. But to be back on the podium was a cracking feat, especially with a team that isn't particularly well known for taking riders to the podium. Obviously, they had that win with Darren Binder last year, but they're not one of the teams that you expect to be fighting at the front. They're not Red Bull KTM. They're not Leopard Racing, who you kind of do expect to be at the front, but that's just another story. I'm really happy to see Toba back on the podium, and I do hope that this is the start of a turnaround, but I'm pretty sure I've said that before, unfortunately. I hope that this is the start of bigger and better and brighter things. I feel like I'm about to do a political speech. Anyway. For my losers, so for Barcelona, I don't particularly have a loser. I do just have to say that poor Yumu Sasaki is just, I don't know how many mirrors he's smashed, ladders he's walked under, black cats he's kicked. That kid's got no luck at the minute. And he's been involved in some pretty big crashes recently. I feel so sorry for him, and I really hope to see him back in Assen because he is such a great little character and I have a lot of love for Ayumu. But my god, his last few races have been horrific. Poor kid. I feel bad for this because I've definitely mentioned them more than once, but my losers for Germany have got to be Gabriel Rodrigo and Jaume Masia. The pair of them keep making stupid and massively costly mistakes. We come into it the last couple of years and they have been pipped to be championship contenders and it's just not materialising. Gabri seems to be able to produce these incredibly aggressive high sides whenever he crashes, and it's almost impressive if it weren't so frightening. And Jaume gets himself into a good position and then something goes wrong. Sometimes it's not his fault. This time it was his fault. He ran into the back of someone and went out. And it's mistakes like that are really costing them. Jaume's in a good position that he has been on the podium. He's got a little nest egg of points to keep him within the championship battle. But if he's going to make these mistakes week after week, then that little bundle of points that he's got is keeping him comfortable is going to very quickly disappear. And he's going to be set adrift from the championship contention. With my surprises, it's got to go to Guevara and Fallon. Two of the rookies that have come into it this year have both had some pretty superb weekends. Fair enough, they have had, Guevara had the amazing running in Barcelona and then crashed out, and Lorenzo Fallon has also had that amazing weekend in Germany where he also, I think he was actually taken out rather than crashed out. But they're both showing some massive improvement, and if it wasn't for the likes of Pedro Acosta, then Guevara would probably be the rookie that everyone was raving about. But unfortunately you've got someone like Pedro Acosta that's come into it and just decided that he's going to be I'm going to be the next big thing and blowing it out of the water. So massive props to Lorenzo Fallon and to Ethan Guevara, because it's some pretty belter weekends that they've just had. I really hope that they can carry on this form and just build on it from there, build on some confidence, because they just needed that little kick of confidence to kind of get their season going, because they have come into it and they've expected to it be a learning experience, and then they've come into it and had to see Acosta on the podium and doing all these amazing things, and it does take the wind out of your sails, and it does make you feel like, why am I not like that? Like, what am I doing wrong? But they're not doing anything wrong. That's the thing. It's your rookie year. You're supposed to learn. It just so happens that you've also come into it in the same year as someone who's taken to their bike like a duck to water. Moving on to Moto2. For my winners from Barcelona, I do have Xavi Vierge, which is quite awkward because I also have him in my losers for Germany. But let's not talk about that just yet. This was the first podium for Vierge in a very long time, and it's really nice to see him finally be able to find some form after what could only be described as pretty horrific start to the season. So to be able to get back on the podium and to have been fighting with Marco Bezzecchi for so long throughout that race for that position, being able to keep him at bay is pretty good going. Whereas for Germany, the boy sees the gravel way too much. He just sees it way too much. I really hoped that podium would have just been finally got things to click, and finally he might have felt comfortable and been like, yep, this is fine, this is great, I know I've clicked the bike now. Anyway, moving on. I've got nothing else to say about that noise. Nothing else. So annoyed about it. So annoyed. Anyway, moving on. Winners for Germany has got to be Albert Arenas. 8th position, which is his best position so far. He's finally seemed to be able to build on, I don't know what he's found or what it is, but he's finally managed to be able to get a good point score. And fair enough, like, Aaron kind of got on the podium, but Aaron's been in it for a couple of years now, so we'll just push that aside. It's nice to see when someone has had such a really iffy and difficult start to the season. He's had crashes and no point scoring, and he's come into it as the Moto3 world champion, and he's not really been able to produce these point scoring finishes that you were expecting. Whereas the likes of Raul Fernandez have come into it and just like continuously been on the podium. I must say, it must be really disheartening, and it must be really difficult to come into it and struggle so much whilst another rookie's just absolutely fine. In the same way that it is with Guevara and Fallon and the rest of the rookies who've come into it and into Moto3 and are seeing Acosta doing what they're doing. They're also coming into Moto2 and seeing Fernandez doing what he's doing. But it's just not normal. So seeing Albert actually get a decent point scoring finish is just wonderful to see. So moving on, so my losers have got to be MV, Augusta, and actually Digia and Garzo, because they have had another coming together. They've had 2 coming togethers recently, which have actually, I think Garzo's come off worse in it. So the crash with Digia and Garzo from Barcelona had actually put Garzo out of the race in Sachsenring because he had 3rd degree burns on his leg, which, don't know if you've seen the pictures on Instagram, they're pretty, I mean, they're not pretty gross, but they're probably gross to normal people. Not me, because I have a background in veterinary medicine, so I've seen way worse. As for MV Augusta, my dudes, you'll spend way too much time in the gravel. I'm really sorry, but you do. I don't know why. They just spend too much time in the gravel and not enough time on the track. I'm sorry. As for my surprises. I have to pick the duo from American Racing because they had their best points, their best finish actually, I think, in Germany. So you had Ramirez, who was in 9th, and Bobier, who was in 10th. Props to you guys. Congratulations for finally actually finding something. Moving on to MotoGP. So for Barcelona, winners for that, I have Enea Bastianini. So Bestia actually got into top 10 once again, which is really, for the fact that he is on Avintia, a Sponsoram racing machine, to get into the top 10 is really pretty good. I know his performance has been a bit hit and miss depending on circuit, but when he gets to a circuit that he seems to like, or I don't know if it's more to do with bike performance, but he really does put that bike into places where it probably doesn't belong, aka the top 10. And for Germany, it's gonna be an obvious one. It's Mark. Coming back from an injury like he sustained to win. He could have very easily have lost his career to that injury. I've broken my wrists before and I still feel the effects, and it's been at least 7 years, at least 10 years since I last broke my wrists, and I still feel the effects of it. So how he has come back after suspected nerve damage and a break like that to be on the top step is just mind-blowing. However, I do have Repsol in my losers for Barcelona for their double DNF. That was just a race to forget. And sometimes I feel really sorry for them because you see them struggling and it's like, wow, I'm so not used to seeing Repsol in this position. But lo and behold, you see both bikes in the gravel and it's just like, oh my god. And my losers for Germany, unfortunately, it's got to be Yamaha. I mean, you had one bike on the podium and the rest of them were lagging at the back of the field. I mean, Maverick finished in last with Morbidelli just in front. I can't get my head around it. Like three bikes out of the points. That's not normal. Not normal. Not when one of them's your factory and it's at the back of the grid. Like, how did Petronas and Yamaha get Frankie to be fighting for the championship last year, and now they can't even get him in the points? And the fact that Maverick won at the first race of the year and is now just nowhere. I don't know what is going on. I'd love to know. I'd love an explanation of what is going on that's causing like such a weird season and such a horrendous result. I don't actually have any surprises when it comes to MotoGP because all of them are really bad, like with Yamaha. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm at a loss for some of them. Like, some of them I feel just need the summer break to regroup and come back with a clear mind and, I don't know, maybe a different manufacturer. So that is all for today. I will hopefully have another video up after Assen, going through the winners and losers, and hopefully not discussing any ridiculous Moto3 antics. But who knows, because there is Moto3. So if you don't want to miss out on any of my videos, don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up on any that you are enjoying, and don't forget to tell me who your winners and losers are in the comments down below. And also if you've got any suggestions for videos that you do want to see. You can also follow me on social media. I do practically live on Twitter and Instagram. I will pop my handles down below. But for now, bye!